how to start a catering business and how to start a catering business in Florida. So this video is going to be dedicated to you, the Florida catering entrepreneur. If you're looking to create a catering business, this channel is brand new to YouTube. We're going to have loads of great content all about every single state and other different marketing tools to help you launch and grow a catering business. So starting a catering business in Florida involves several specific steps, so including understanding the legal requirements and acquiring necessary permits and making financial investments in equipment and marketing. So this video will give you a detailed look at permits, insurance, marketing, and so much more. So you give me about 10 minutes and I'll save you about a year's worth of time searching and planning, and we're going to get started right now. All right, welcome back to How to Start a Catering Business, the new YouTube channel dedicated to catering businesses and helping you get up and running. If you love to cook, or if you're a chef and you want to create a side hustle or a side business, even a small business, either from home potentially, or even just utilizing a commercial kitchen, this channel is definitely for you. You definitely want to hit the subscribe button. Now, we are today specifically talking about these steps. Specifically, we're going to go over the steps as to what you need to the state of Florida. So if you're looking to launch a catering business, you definitely want to stick around for about 10 minutes. I'm going to give you 9 specific things and even break down pricing, permits, and everything else in between. And additionally, in the description section, guys, check out our other food entrepreneur channels here on YouTube. So step number 1, the most important, and of course, when I started my Italian bakery and we offered catering through our Italian bakery for local businesses, market research and business plan is ultra important. And to be honest with you, 100% transparent, I did not create a business plan, and I wish I actually did. So the first part of this is the market research. You want to identify specifically your target market. You want to determine the demographics and preferences of those potential clients, specifically in your city or county in Florida, and what they are looking for in a catering business. Analyze competitors. Now, of course, there's going to be competition even with small catering businesses. So you want to research other catering businesses in your area to kind of understand what they're offering, what their pricing is, and what their market position is. Like basically how many businesses are coming to them, and how can you actually get additional businesses, possibly even from them. Develop a unique selling proposition. So what is a USP? You want to identify what makes your catering service specifically unique and different from the rest. Now, the business plan. As I mentioned before, I unfortunately did not create a business plan. It's not very difficult, but it's actually very important for many reasons, not just for getting investors. These 8 specific sections with the business plan I'm going to go over. I'm going to break them down really simple so you can basically understand the principles of these. Number 1 is executive summary. So you want to outline your business's goals and vision. Okay, specifically, where do you want to take the business? Where are you at right now at this moment? What resources do you have available? Where do you want to go in the next 5, 7, maybe 10 years? Business description. That's another important aspect. You want to describe your catering services and specifically your target market. You want to understand the market analysis. You want to summarize your market research. So after you've put together a little bit of information, this section of your business plan will have the market analysis in it. Your organization and management. Now, you want to detail the business structure, the management team, and who's going to be operating and running it. Now, it potentially could be just you, and you could be hiring people to assist you with different events and planning and setting up, but you are the one that's basically running the show off the bat. Maybe there's nobody there with you, and that's perfectly fine because every one of these businesses, food businesses, always start small and normally with 1, maybe 2 people. Service line. You want to describe your catering services and the menu options. Of course, you can't create every single type of food under the sun, so you want to come up with a specific menu because that also will help you understand who your client's going to be. Number 6, marketing and sales strategy. Now you want to plan how you will attract and retain customers. That is a very tricky and very instrumental part in growth and scaling any type of food business, especially catering. Number 7, funding request. If you're seeking funding, detail your financial needs. Literally lay it on the line. If you need $100,000, if you need $50,000 or more, find out specifically where it is as far as cost of equipment, launching, payroll, potentially ingredients for your first couple of months, maybe 6, 8 months or a year out. It's very important to understand your funding aspect. Number 8, your financial projections. So you want to provide a projected income statement, cash flow statement, and a balance sheet. Now, it may sound a little odd to you. You may not be familiar with those statements or what those are. But basically, you want to project how much money you think you're going to make maybe the first couple of years. What kind of cash flow? Like how much money will you have coming in and coming out of each and every event, okay? And then the balance sheet. What is your net profit? What is your gross profit? And after it's said and done, how much are you actually making? Step number 2, legal structure and registration. Now let's dive into some of the legalities of starting a catering business in Florida. You want to choose a legal structure. Now, sole proprietorship. Now this is easy to set up, but offers really no personal liability protection. I personally would recommend an LLC, and I'll get to that in just a second. Sole proprietorships are fine, but again, from the legal perspective, it doesn't really offer any personal protection. So you could be sued personally if someone has some reason to sue you. And then from there, you're going to end up having to lose your house or lose your car or everything personally that you have. That's what you get no legal protection. Number 2 is partnership. Now, this is a little different. This is a shared ownership, but shared liability. So let's say you and another person, you've got 2 people involved. That partnership, everyone pretty much goes right down the middle, 50-50 normally, and each of you will have shared liability. Now, limited liability company, now LLC. Now, this offers liability protection and even additional tax benefits. And next one up is corporation. This is a bit more complex, okay, but it actually offers significant liability protection if you want to create just a corporation. That would be a C Corp or S Corp, okay? Next one is register your business. So in the state of Florida, when you start a catering business, you want to get your business name registration set. That means you have to register your business name with the Florida Department of State. Number 2, you need an EIN. That is an employer identification number. You apply for an EIN from the IRS for tax purposes. That has actually nothing to do specifically with the state business website for Florida. You actually have to go to the IRS website. Number 3, step 3, permits and licenses. Now, you'll need a food establishment permit. This is a Department of the Business and Professional Regulations in Florida, the DBPR. Apply for a food establishment permit through the Division of Hotels and Restaurants. Now, the fee kind of varies by the size of your establishment, actually, but typically it runs between about $300 to $400 annually. Now, with that in mind, you want to make sure when I say annually, you have to renew it every year. If you don't, you will be fined. Inspection. Your kitchen will need to pass a health inspection. So if you're actually opening or operating your own commercial kitchen, you have to get it up to specs and make sure that the health department signs off on it. Mobile food dispensing vehicle license. Now, the DBPR, if you plan to operate actually a food truck or even a mobile catering unit, you want to apply for an MFDV license. Okay, that's a mobile food dispensing license in Florida. Now, the fee for this approximately is around $300 annually. Keep in mind, again, you have to renew that every year. Inspection is actually your vehicle will need to pass a health inspection, so it's a little different. They won't come to a commercial kitchen because the vehicle itself will be your kitchen on wheels. That will need to be inspected. Local business tax receipt. All right, so the county and city, you want to obtain a business tax receipt. Now, it's formerly known actually as occupational license from your county and the city. Now, this varies typically in pricing, but around $30 to about $150 annually. Next one is the sales tax permit. The Florida Department of Revenue is who you'll register for a sales tax permit to collect sales tax from customers. Now, the fee for this, free to register. You just need to basically register your business. They don't charge a fee for that. Step 4, health and safety regulations. Now, ultra important because otherwise you will get shut down. So food safety certification, you have food manager certification. So at least one person in your business must have a food manager certification from an accredited program. And I believe some of these actually can go online and you can take them, but then I think the test is in person. They're about $100 to about $200. A food handler certification. Now, food handler training. All employees must complete a food handler training course that costs between $10 to $20 per person. Step 5, insurance. Yes, you will need general liability insurance. What does that mean? Well, coverage, let's talk about that. That protects against claims of bodily injury or property damage. Typically, that costs around $300 to $600 annually. That's actually similar to what I have in my food business. It runs about $570 a year, if I'm not mistaken. Next one up is actually going to be commercial auto insurance. So if you're using vehicles for your business, obviously you're going to have a catering van to transport the food and possibly your employees. This cost varies on payroll, typically about $500 to $1,000 a year, workers' compensation insurance. Step number 6, equipment and supplies. So kitchen equipment, a commercial kitchen rental, potentially. If you're not going to build one, you're going to need to rent one. Consider renting a commercial kitchen if you don't actually have one of your own. The cost can be about $15 to $30 per hour or $1,000 to $2,000 per month. It really based upon the type of commercial kitchen you rent. Now, essential equipment that you're going to need for this also is going to be obviously ovens, refrigerators, food processors, etc. And if you're building this out or don't have this equipment, it can be about $10,000 to $50,000, depending on the scale of your initial startup for the catering business. Next one is catering supplies. Now, servicing equipment, chafing dishes. This is actually serving equipment, trays, utensils, etc. You can look about $1,000 to $3,000. Transport equipment. This would be like insulated food carriers and coolers and such, $500 to $2,000. Next one will be step 7. This is the tricky one, and it's very important, but a lot of people overlook it. It's marketing. So your online presence, of course, website. You want to create a professional website showcasing your services and menu. If you're having someone build it out, you're going to look at about $500 to $2,000 for design and development. Social media. You want to set up, obviously, platforms and profiles on these platforms of Facebook, Instagram, maybe even LinkedIn. LinkedIn's a great one to get corporate events. The cost for that's free, but you got to consider a budget for potential paid advertising. Now, that's online presence in regards to marketing. Now, let's talk about a little offline marketing. These would be business cards, flyers, etc. These would be things that you can hand out at events. Distribute to local businesses and events. Now, this would cost about, if you're having these printed, between about $100 to $500. Networking. So you want to join local business organizations and attend networking events. The membership fees typically for these, if you're in a local business, maybe about $50 to $200 a year, but they're well worth it because you're going to drum up a lot of interest from local businesses. Step number 8, we're almost near the end here, pricing strategy. So you want to determine your costs. Now let's take a look a little bit at some of these costs that are already there, like fixed costs. This would be insurance, permits, and rent. Those are actually costs that are actually set in stone in a sense, and they're fixed. They're never really going to change, but you have to renew them mostly every year, every month. So take a look at those. Variable costs, those are up and down. That would be based on ingredient usage, labor, transportation. So those are things that are variable, but they are going to affect you every single month. Next is when you set prices, your markup. Let's talk about markup for catering. Typically, caterers mark up their food costs by 2.5 to 3 times to cover all expenses and ensure profitability. So let's say something costs $1. Let's see as an example. Between 2.5 times, you wanted to charge nearly $2.50 per dollar, or up to $3 for that dollar. Step 9, launch and grow your catering business in Florida. Soft launch. What does that mean? Well, that's kind of like a trial run. You want to test your services with friends and family or at small events. Then you want to gather feedback. This makes you adjust. You want to make some improvements based on the feedback. Then you have your official launch and then promote. Use online or offline marketing strategies to attract customers. So, starting a catering business in Florida requires some careful planning and adherence to specific regulations, but a strategic approach to marketing and operations is something that you definitely should follow. But following these detailed steps, you can actually establish a pretty successful catering business in Florida. There's a lot of opportunity and there's a lot of potential for catering businesses in Florida. Let us know down below if you've actually launched your business in Florida. We'd love to hear from you, and I'll see you on our next video.